Hello and welcome to IIT Jammu's first Alumni podcast series, where we are going to talk about the real stories, real insights, and real journeys of the alumni who are cracking the industries and making it shine brighter. So today we have very interesting guests with us, Mr. Yash Katiyar, who is an alumni 2021 batch graduate, who is just not smart enough, but who is doing wonders in his careers. He started his journey with Amazon and breakthrough Arcesium and many more industries. And currently, he's taking over the financial sector and learning financial technology and CS, blending his energy with CS background. He's currently doing MS with NTU Singapore. So welcome, Yash. It was pleasure having you with us.
Thank you for having me here. Good to be back.
So how have you been?
That's been great, apart from missing my bachelor life, like bachelor college life, but it's been largely good apart from it. So yeah, it's always good to be back to the same environment I was for I guess the best 4 years of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Great. So Yash, so this podcast, we are going to take you back to your memory lane. So tell us something about the time when you were preparing yourself for entering into IIT, and how was it, and how you landed it to IIT Jammu.
Oh, that was quite a process. I think I prepared for JEE for almost 4 years, from 9th standard to my 12th. And I think it was like I felt a little burnt out by the end, by the time I gave JEE. So my JEE mains wasn't that good. But then JEE advanced, I did much better. And then I had the option to either choose a department, some other department at the older IITs, or I could have chosen CSC at IIT Jammu or any of the newer IITs. So, I mean, some part of me choosing Jammu was also because I was a little spiritual in a sense of, I used to come to Vaishno Devi. So, I felt like it's a calling of science sorts, and I was also looking out for computer science engineering in specific. So I remember putting in 18 hours a day of studies and then, cracking that exam, that JEE Advanced. I just read a quote 2 days ago that JEE can break the most academically strong people. So I felt like when I cracked it, I'm like, maybe this is it. And then I took IIT Jammu out of whatever options I had. So I think in retrospective, I feel like it was a great decision.
It is glad to hear. So when you recall the memory of IIT Jammu, there was Palora campus. So tell me something which that is a nostalgia and that takes you back to the time when it was Palora campus, then the new campus was building upon, and the faculty from IIT Delhi. How was it?
Okay.
And talk something.
I think I was lucky. I was lucky in the sense that I landed in this campus. Like it was my first memory was this campus. I never stayed at the Palora campus, but we used to go there. A lot of activities used to happen in Palora campus. The seniors were there. We used to interact with them. I still remember the first ever badminton trials that happened in Palora campus, and they it was a full day, or I guess 2 days trial. We went there. We had sports event. I remember it was called Convoker back then. And some of it has happened there, some of it happened at grounds outside the college. But I think the core memory still was, just coming to this college. And I'll be just very honest, it was just 1.5 building back then, and lots of construction work going on. I think there was a cement manufacturing plant as well, what is now a football ground. And from there, we used to take water from our hostels to put it on the ground, and we put, hand rollers, just flatten the ground out so we can play some cricket. So I guess it has come a long way since then. So these are all very core memories, in the very first batch we were here. I still remember unpackaging the washing machine in our hostel wing. And that was quite a day. I still have photos of that day, and all of us were very glad. The wing, everyone that was in that wing. So yeah, these were some core memories, and going on, like we did a lot of sports. I went to a couple of sports meets, and a lot of my friends, they went to Inter-IT Tech Meet, and I think we performed really well in Tech Meet. I remember we got couple of second and third places back then. And then the fourth year was all about placements. So yeah, it was quite a journey. I think mostly uphill. I'll say for me it was mostly uphill, and but it was like quite a heartbeat.
I
Yeah,
can understand. Totally understand. So it was interesting to know that you were a sports player. So let's throw some light for us when I talk about academics starting from first semester onwards. How was your first year of engineering and following the upcoming years?
I think the first year of engineering is when you get to know that whatever you have done till that point, it probably doesn't matter in a way, because you have to start learning from scratch, especially the academics. The way it is taught here, the way it is taught, I guess, in IITs in general, it's very different from what you have done before that. And it took me some time. For me personally, it took me almost half a semester to get used to the exam scenario, because we followed the curriculum of IIT Delhi. And a lot of professors also came in from IIT Delhi. So we used to have weekend classes back then. And I remember Tuesdays and Wednesdays used to be off. So it was very crooked in the sense that we never used to have weekend plans, because we were in classes all weekends. But I think it was quite a shift from the kind of studies we were doing before before coming to the college, and especially the exams, how important the assignments work, and then how important the labs were. I feel like a few of the labs were just as hard as the theory courses were. And one funny thing was, I think most of the people who came here, they were doing very good in their academics back in schools. They were 90% on above that people. But coming here, we realized, even if you're passing with a 50%, you might still get an A grade.
Yeah.
So that's why it was quite a paradigm shift. But yeah, that was my first year all in all in terms of academics.
Yes. So, recall your memories of your faculties. So, whom you can recall and what memories come to your mind? What all memories come to your mind? Share some stories of your faculty.
I think, since we are starting from the first semester, I remember there was Professor Savant Suman Sinha. I think that was his name. He used to teach us mechanics, the engineering mechanics, the very basic course. And he used to take early morning flights from Delhi. He used to take 8 to 10 classes. And in November, like with the winters coming in, it was really hard to make it to the classes. But he was very diligent in the sense, first of all, his assignments were pure gold. I think that prepped us so much for the exams that were coming up. And the way he used to teach us, everything, every handwritten note he would make in the class in front of us. He would solve problems. And the best part wasn't academic. The best part was he was so diligent in his duty that I remember there was one of the days when a lot of the class had a very low attendance. He came to our hostels, he knocked on our doors, and he came, okay, today's class is important. You should come to the class if you can make it. And he came on to the whole of our hostel and he took us to the class. So that was how diligent he was. We really liked him because like his exams and his all of his teaching material, they were very in sync. So that was my first core memory of teaching here. Then over the years, I remember classes of programming languages. I forgot the name of the professor. He used to come from IIT Delhi as well.
Okay.
But I remember there was this.
When IIT Jammu faculty started taking up your classes, you were in third semester, fourth semester?
I was in, I guess, fourth or fifth semester. Okay. One of the fourth or fifth. Because even in the fourth semester, I remember two of the courses of programming languages in computer architecture, they were from IIT Delhi. But I think in the very same semester, some of the classes started happening here as well. Okay. But from the fifth semester onwards, I think all of the classes started happening here.
So who were your first faculties?
First faculty, I remember computer networks. Gaurav Varshne sir, he taught us computer networks. And to be honest, he made it look very simple. And I remember the book he suggested for the course, because during my BTech, that was the only book I actually read end to end. And it was really like a storybook, and the way he used to teach us. A part of that course was also taken by, I guess, Ankit sir, I guess he's was from
Ankit
electrical.
Dubis.
Yeah, part of it was taken by him, but all in all, and Gaurav Ashne sir, even I think he returned back for networks and system security. That was the course he took like completely from end to end. And I feel like his teaching method was pretty good in the sense that it was very simple. He doesn't, we didn't never felt like we are actually learning something very complicated. And then he used to have many hands-on project in the sense of would capture our own Wi-Fi's packets and analyze what each one of us is probably seeing. So that was also really funny. And even somebody at the back was accessing YouTube and he could make out, okay, this router somebody is definitely playing a YouTube video. So yeah.
So that landed to your internship, if I'm not wrong, with Max Secure.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did. It did. I think Max Secure was it was like a malware analysis and software engineering intern. So we back then we analyzed the code structure of the PDFs and saw that if there are any hidden URLs, right? There are a lot of times you'll find, you can click on a PDF and it'll redirect you somewhere, but you can't really see the link is there. So those are the kind of analysis we did back in Max Secure. And I was interning there with a friend of mine, Parth. So he's actually doing his master's in cybersecurity right now.
Right.
And we interned together, and we created a software that would, you'll just put a PDF in or any doc, Excel file, and it will analyze if there are any visible or hidden URLs. And, there was also an ML model that would classify if that's okay, it should be there or not, or if it's harmful, then it will flag it. So that was like the first ever industrial internship we had. And, from there, I understood how industries actually work. So yeah, it was like a great thing because I remember the interviews were about a bit about cryptanalysis and also about how you can. I remember. So I don't remember the concept exactly, but it was about analyzing the individual registers in the computer, what was going on through them, and we were doing that analysis, that how in the register that's the flow of information was going on. So these were the kind of things we did in class, and we analyzed a lot of softwares. We used a lot
What
of softwares.
about your time spent in computer labs at night? And
Oh, I was.
going back to hostels at 2 p.m. If I'm correctly mentioned.
There were days I didn't even go back to the hostel, straight for the breakfast. There were days where I did that. And computer lab, so I think computer lab wasn't just there for computer lab. I think it was also a place where you could study basically everything. And the fact that it was open through the night, I think that was the best part, with air conditioners in summer especially. And I loved it. I stayed. Actually, I was doing my final year internship in Amazon while I was in college. So because it was COVID, so we weren't called to the offices. So computer lab actually helped me there a lot.
So there were no air conditioning in your hostel room.
Yeah,
Back then,
there were no.
students used to just
Hold the computer.
about for sports in computer lab,
Yes,
right?
yes. And I used to be the lucky few who used to get the computer lab, and I knew a few secrets around the password of the computer lab because we were there most often. And since there weren't a lot of people who were using computer labs for actual coding and stuff, they're using it for viewing the PDFs or viewing the lectures. And so yeah, I think we had a parallel. I think Linux systems that we used a lot, and Windows systems that everybody else used a lot. So I used a computer lab like to the fullest, to study, to sometimes to even watch movies. Sometimes, yeah, the monitors were bigger, and also like it helped me during my internship a lot. And just having that extra headspace was great.
So your friend circle back then, are you still with them? Who were your friends? And recall any memories which you think of was the craziest memories of?
I think this is the topic I want to talk on like the most, because I have this saying, or that's something I believe, that the alumni network, it doesn't start with the college, starts with the hostel.
Yes.
And I think I built my personal alumni network in the hostel. We were all very stupid when we started out as friends, and now looking at them, what they're doing in their respective lives, I feel like each day I get an individual push to do something better with my life because they're doing it. And I guess that's true for them as well. We keep pushing each other, and it's great in today's world that I'm still friends with about more than 10, 15 people who I was friends with in hostel as well. And one of my very good friends is in US right now, working at NVIDIA, to have cracked UPSC. I think 3 or 4 of them are, they have already either graduated from IIM, so they are in an IIM right now. One of my very good friends, he's just, he's helping a lot of startups build. He just keeps jumping from one startup to another.
So what's his name?
His name is Akash.
Oh, lovely.
He's strictly in startups, and his vision is to have a startup of his own eventually. But he's doing great there as well. So I feel like, I have friends who are doing everything. I have a friend who just started out his own business in terms of food manufacturing, and so yeah, I mean, all in all, when I have people to talk to, I think they're doing great in all fields of life and in all parts of the world.
You're still in touch with your senior because you're from second batch and the first batch of 2016 who was on campus. There were 3 departments back then. So are you still in touch with your seniors? Because back then I remember like you were just all together. It was difficult for us to differentiate who was your senior and who was your junior because you all were like hanging around all together. And that was beautiful culture, I believe.
Yes, it was. And it wasn't just the seniors of the first batch. It was also the seniors of the M.Tech batch. It was also the seniors of the PhDs batch. We used to play together. I feel in the last semester, due to the COVID, there were only a handful of people who actually came to the college. So I remember playing crickets, not just with those people. A team was built from students, another team was from faculties. And I remember Anup sir, Pankaj sir, they were all in the faculty team. I used to play with the cricket with the student team. Then there was Ashok sir. He taught me a lot about volleyball. I mean, that was crazy.
Ashok Behra.
Ashok Behra sir. Yeah, I had no clue about volleyball. He would just take in, oh, you play volleyball. I'm like, no, I don't. But you play something. I'm like, yes, I play football. Like, come on, I'll teach you volleyball. And in 2 months, I was in love with the sport. And about the seniors, actually, I think 2016 batch was we were very close because in the first 2 batches, they gave a lot of, I think for me, the motivation to get into Amazon was because of them. Because I think 4 or 5 of them, they cracked into Amazon. Before that, I used to believe, it's not a dream for me right now, maybe in future. But when they cracked into Amazon, I felt like, I should try as well. And that was the major motivation. And the fun part is, I've been meeting quite a lot of them after my batch is completed. I remember Vaibhav, one of our seniors, Vaibhav Vashisht. He's in Bangalore. I don't know where he's now. He was in Bangalore 2 years ago when I was there as well.
I think he moved to Noida, if I'm not wrong, to Salesforce.
Yeah, Hyderabad. Yeah, he's in Hyderabad. Okay. So I went on a couple of treks with him, a couple of dinners. We used to go out. He was in Bangalore as well back then.
Who else?
Sometimes I talk to Akshit Kansara. He's with Google. Then I also had I think I also have chat with Saurabh. He's Saurabh Raj. He's from he was from mechanical branch. He's in US. In UK. Yeah, he's in UK.
He's doing master. He did
his master's. He's working now in London.
Completed.
Yeah, he's working now in London. So sometimes I talk to him as well. So a lot of PhD students. I think Hardeep, he just completed his PhD. He used to play cricket with us. I remember his ball hit me here once. It was painful for 2 days, but it was like a solid camaraderie we had, and we never felt like, eventually in the beginning there is some sort of, the feeling of seniority they have and the kind of like we are juniors, but eventually it blurs out. And after college, we were pretty much friends.
But I recall and I remember, and I think the journey is still the same when your juniors call you sir and ma'am.
Yeah.
It started with your batch, right?
Yes. And I think...
How it started? I mean, you were from second batch. You were the first juniors.
Yeah, I mean, I still used to call to the seniors I was close to. I used to call them bhaiya, and most of them were, and then I felt like juniors just picked it up from somewhere. But let me tell you, by the end of the first year and the beginning of second year, calling you sir or ma'am, it wasn't like a necessity that they were doing. It was more like it was more of a joke by them. Okay. Because my juniors, who I meet now, they have also graduated from here. They still call me sir. And it's like, we're not calling it out of respect, the seniority. It's like, I just like to call you sir at this point. Like I remember Kadir, he's in Singapore, he's working there, and he's like, yes sir, let's go there, yes sir, let's go there. And my friends from my course, they feel like, why is he calling you sir? And it's just a thing between us at this point. Yeah, it's just a thing, and there's no, it's really not about seniority, because technically he's my senior in NTU. Yeah, and he gives me all the tips about the places. I think living in Singapore is easier because he's there. Living in Bangalore was easier because Webhub and other folks from IIT Jammu were there. And I think every place I go, I try to, there's alumni group in Hyderabad, Mumbai as well. So I try to meet my friends or whoever I've known or whoever I'm still in touch with. I just definitely try to meet them.
So it's great to hear first the first 4 years of your journey. And you guys stay tuned. We are gonna connect back and there is more conversation to it. So stay here and we'll be back soon. Thank you. So Yash, I have somebody special whom I would like to introduce you to. So as you are alumni and now alumni life is purely different and it's an overlap of memories with the new memories in making, I would say. So we are going to have with us Dr. Ankur Bansal. He's heading alumni section at IIT Jammu. You would be very happy to meet him. Right, all right. So let me introduce you, Dr. Ankur Bansal. So he's heading Alumni Relation Office as AD, Associate Dean of Alumni Relations Office. Welcome, sir.
Hi. Hello.
Hello, sir. Hi, thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.
So, sir, thank you. First, you started with this initiative of podcast series, and how are you feeling? Like, this is the first podcast we are shooting.
Yes.
So we have with us from the very first two batches, Mr. Yash Katiyar. So
Right.
throw some light on how this idea came to you and what are your plans?
Yeah. So I've recently taken over this section actually a few months back. Just before the convocation. So I was actually trying to do a lot of experiments with this section. So what we can do more for, because we are actually into the early stage, but this is the right time actually, because 10 years down the line, these stories will be memories for us actually.
Yeah.
So the idea was very simple actually. I had several observations, alumni come over the campus, they interact with the students. So I've seen there's a spark actually, when students listen to someone, who had been there actually, who was sitting in the same classroom earlier, had faced same difficulty level, so they actually get more connected. So that was just the idea so why not capture those memories? So that's what motivated me to actually start this. And
I think that's really great. And alumni, people who are sitting out in the industry and who are sitting across different pinpoints of the world, I think they are still looking at us being IIT Jammu.
Yeah, that's true actually. Normally alumni sometimes feel, unless they are exceptionally, they have done something exceptionally good, or they are extremely senior, then only their story matters. But that's not true actually. Every story has a has a meaning to us. Yes, every story has a different thing where students can learn from those stories, and for alumni as well. It's not. For alumni, they feel a bit more connected, when you talk about something, of their past, what time they have had here. So the idea was the same only. That's.
So we also, because we got you on our table, so I want to make you also go back to your memory lane. How you see your institution as an alumni and how you can connect now heading an alumni department of your institution such as IIT Jammu, which is a growing institute, and lot of eyes of alumni are on us. being a new institution and how it is growing?
Yes, that's actually very important. I mean, because being a new institute, it's really important for IIT Jammu, right? So to get connected with the alumni network. I mean, because see, the whatever the picture, the image of IIT Jammu, these guys are carrying, to the real world actually. So they are our future actually. They've not just finished, they might have finished degree at IIT Jammu, but their bonding, their connection is still, and it will be there for long.
Yes.
I mean, and I've seen from my, previous, when I was, part of certain institutes, and now I'm alumnus for those institutes. I still, used to go there, visit those places, and feel a little bit nostalgic, going to the hostels, and so that's really, I mean, everyone has a beautiful feeling with their alma maters actually.
Yes. And so, because you are working with a lot of students right now, and they are also getting graduated, any one story you would like to share of any alumni you remember of IIT Jammu, and you would like to share the message with our audience here?
Yeah, I have several, students who are still, connected with me. I mean, I remember one was one of my favorite student. I mean, he did masters with me actually.
What's his name, sir?
His name was Amit Pandey.
Okay.
He is currently sitting in Qualcomm, Hyderabad.
Right.
So, I mean, he was like, very, different personality. I mean, when he was here, he was obviously a little bit shy, but still, among others, he was one who stood up and, who comes, okay, this is that, we can do this, coming up with the new ideas every time. And the actual, the character comes out when you go out actually. So still we are connected. Like I literally was into tears sort of when he was leaving IIT Jammu, right? So that sort of connection you have with your alumni.
I think, yes, you can also correct me if I'm wrong. The kind of bonding which being a student you build with faculty, I think faculty builds the same. I think
Yes, and that's something I have realized after a few years. I mean, I met Gaurav sir by chance, I guess last year, and he was taking the final year students to some camping trip. So I just happened to meet him by chance, and then he took us back to the camp for food, for music, and for a bonfire session. And the way the faculties treat you after college, it's not a teacher student. Yes, yes. It's more of more of a equal relationship. Right. They have motivated you through life, and now you are in that life which they have also lived. It's more of the conversations are like that, and I feel the importance of the faculties, even if you weren't enjoying the classes, but you do enjoy the bond that you make eventually.
Yeah.
And you realize, okay, they were at this stage in their lives.
Yeah.
And when you are at that stage,
Right.
like, okay, this is how things work.
I think this bond is actually giving me goosebumps. So before we leave you from here, one last message to the alumni community we have out there, not just in Jammu, not just in India, throughout the globe. We have alumni right now placed. One message for them from your end.
Yeah, I would like to just mention that, I mean, this is just the start of the, the initiatives. This is one of those. We have several things to come up this year. So, and we believe in reconnecting actually. I mean, it's not just getting connected through messages or calls. It's actually being, involved into some meaningful engagement. I mean, through some, academia based or, entrepreneurship based or research based things we'll do. And so that's it. What I can say, I mean, as we have started the first podcast we are shooting, or we are, doing right now, this will be launched in the upcoming, alumni meet at Bangalore very soon. And we'll have a lot more to come.
Great. So on that note, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. It means a lot that you spared some time,
Thank you.
good time for us. And I think under this, we are going to record more such interesting stories. We're going to hear more new journeys of the alumni. I think we're going to learn some new learnings, and we're going to look at more events like this from the alumni section.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
So, right. So, in the first session, I think we immediately understood your life as a student on campus, and we heard your stories from sports to being a hostler and then being a student and whatnot. So coming to the phase when you were onto the campus hiring, and then your transition from campus hiring towards the getting and landing into industry, landing for an internship and online mode, and then actually going to the industry, walking your first step in the door of corporate. So tell me, walk down the journey for us.
I think the I think the interview period, that those 3-4 months was especially they were different in the sense, first of all, we didn't know what interviews are like. We did give some interviews for the internships before that, but the season was a little different this time because it was COVID. So I remember still, I think it was all a matter of realizing where you stand with what people want. So I remember I started my preparation for data structure interviews, I think from June end onwards, because I knew that interviews might start happening in August or September. So that's when I think I gave, Amazon was one of the first companies that was visiting us. And I still remember it was 28th September, I gave the interviews, and the same day we got the results and all. And back that time, Amazon didn't come for a full-time role. It came for 6-month internships. And then few other companies came in the following 2-3 weeks. But I think the preparation majorly goes towards, what they want from you. I think the interview scenarios are different today, but back then it was mostly about data structures and algorithms. We had to crush on lead code for hours. I used to spend almost 6 to 8 hours daily just lead coding my way through the solution, and doing some follow-up on theory, some operating systems, some computer networks. I spent a lot of time for 2-3 months to get at a point where Amazon could, I could crack the exam and the interviews. But, saying all that, I think luck is a very big factor, be it in your college interviews or your interviews that you give later on in your life. So luck plays a major role. I feel like, I was well prepared, but I was also very lucky that I got these opportunities, and I also didn't hesitate while I was giving interviews. Because it's like, it's just one question you don't have to get correct, and they might not consider you for the job. And I remember some of us did everything correct and they were still didn't get the internship. So yeah, I think luck also played a major part back then. And then, jumping into the industry, that was like a whole different experience. We started our internship in January, I guess. And it was still COVID. We weren't called to Bangalore. My office location was Bangalore. So then call us to Bangalore, and we had this chance to come back to college. I did my intern here. Good part was my life was very balanced because during the day I was working, in the evening I was playing, having food and fun at night, and again, there's a whole timetable. But what you realize after getting into the industry is like things are happening at a rather structured way.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of freedom that companies often give you. Like, for instance, I told my mentor at Amazon that I might have sometimes I have classes, or sometimes I would during the daytime I might not be available due to classes or labs or whatever 1-2 courses I had back then. So he was like, okay, we'll have a meeting in morning at 11, then we'll have another meeting at 4. And during this time, either you can work or do whatever you want to, or like I just want updates in those meetings, no matter when you work. So, that's when I realized you could work at your own time, but you have to be punctual to the deliverables that you have told. I got a major thrashing in this 3rd month of my internship, I remember very vividly. But that was also for my benefit. I mean, he understood, like, as a student, sometimes we're like, okay, this is not happening for me.
Yeah.
I'll just ask help. But that's not how you do it in industry.
Corporate, yeah.
In the corporate, you have to document all your cases.
Yes.
Why is something not working? What have you tried? And why, whatever you have tried, if it's not working, why do you think it's not working? When you have documented every possible case and scenario, that's when you take help of your mentor. You just can't go and get help. So I think that, that scolding or thrashing, whatever you call it, but, that changed my view of how I was working in corporate. And believe me, like, it was those last 3 months which actually had me got converted to Amazon. And I think within 6 months of being at Amazon, I had an intern under me.
Yeah.
I mentored an intern, he got converted. And then I understood the other side of the things. That, as a mentor, you are responsible for so much. Even after the intern leaves, you are responsible for whatever he's done. While he is working, you're responsible for all the documentation. And, it's up to you. It's up to you how well you present his or her case so that she gets converted.
Right.
So I feel like that 1 year, the 6-month internship, and then 6 months as corporate full-time and 6 months as a mentor, I think 1.5 years shaped me a lot.
Yeah.
And, that was like a good transition period. So it wasn't a couple of months, it took a good 1.5 years
Was
transition.
it harder than you expected, this transition? Was it harder? Did you find any struggles? Did you find any challenges? Or you think that this was something you were not prepared for?
Definitely. I think I was definitely not prepared for the transition. Most of us, when we see jobs, it's about, what you're going to work on, how much you're going to earn, what's the culture like, and how the people, but you don't really know what the work is. Exactly. Means in theory, you have done a lot in college, but you don't know what exactly you're going to achieve there. So I feel like it was difficult, but it was less work intensive difficult. It was more emotionally difficult in the sense you were transitioning from a place where so many people were around you emotionally and they used to support you. You used to do a lot of things. Now you come back to your home, especially in COVID times. Now you have an additional responsibility talking to people, designing things with people whom you haven't met.
Yes.
And you're just connecting with them virtually. So I feel like it's difficult for everyone, definitely, but COVID just made it even more difficult because I met my team at Amazon for the first time after I had already worked for, I guess, more than 1 year. Yeah. And if I remember correctly, it was almost 1.5 years that I met them, for the first time. And actually, I loved them. And that's where we found companionship. We met the people who have been through the same system.
Right.
And I especially like to mention this was this senior from IIT BHU. He was in the industry for, I guess, 6-7 years, but he never let me feel like, no, I think he was in the industry for 10 years almost, but he never let me feel that, that he is so much senior and I'm so much junior. So he let me, there are people always there. You have to find the right people who will just navigate you through how corporate works, how you have to put your work, how you have to think, how you
I
have
think
to
that
present.
helping buddy is
Yes.
important everywhere in every phase of your life.
Yes.
Who can just hold your hand and just take you and cross the river.
Yes. And it's not just about the work.
Yeah.
It's about the things that come other than work.
Other than work,
New
that
city.
really emotional support or that somebody whom you can lean upon. I think.
Yes.
So that is very important.
Yeah.
So talking about the skills that you carried from the institute, what kind of skills you think that you carried with you from the institute, and the skills you think there was a gap, or a gap or something which was something very new skill that you learned on the job. So talk us about.
Yes, I think, in general, the major skill that, all of my friends would also, agree to that we take from bachelor's is the perseverance.
Yeah.
Even if, I have seen people give, my friends are from mechanical, they gave like 7 exams in 3.5 days. And those are all final exams, 100 marks, 80 marks. I gave 6 exams in 4 days. So I remember all this, but never would you go to an exam fully unprepared.
Yeah.
You'll do something or the other in that one night or those few hours, even just 2 hours. But you'll do so much in that 2 hours, efficiently that you might not even sometimes, at this point in my life, I don't think I'm that efficient anymore. But that's something definitely I learned from my time at college, and that's something I took to my job. But also at the same time management was something, that I had to learn on the job.
On the job.
Because you have to understand that when you're a student, you are just on your own. But when you're working with people, you have to respect their time.
Yeah.
You have to respect your time, and you have to respect, the fact that they're being available to you. So time management is one thing that it took me a good 1 year, 1.5 year, while I was mentoring my intern to understand, time management is so
It's
important.
something that is really, really
Yeah,
important.
yeah, that's something I learned into corporate. In terms of, hard skills, these are like the soft skills thing. But in terms of hard skills, I feel like, a lot of research and development, mindset came from college. A lot of things you could cover in some short time and you can make sense of it. You can draw a diagram to explain anyone. These kind of things is something, we learned in college over the 4 years. But, hard skills such as like, understanding how cloud systems actually work. Like I was part of the team who relied like completely on AWS. And during my 3 years at Amazon, including my internship, I think what came out means when I came out of Amazon, I think I was truly, I felt like, I'm some seasoned developer in an Amazon, in AWS infrastructure. And I think that was one of the reasons why like within a week I got a job at RCCM, because they were looking someone exactly like me who has 3 years of experience in AWS designing. So yeah, that's what happened on the job. And I think a good part about getting into a good company like Amazon, you start your career from there. It's like an ever-learning company. It's also become sometimes very hectic. I'll be very honest. Amazon becomes very hectic sometimes, but the learning opportunity I've had at Amazon, I don't think I've had it like quite like that anywhere else. Those 6 months of internship.
After entering into the industry, do you sense or do you feel anything that you could have changed while being a student that could have helped you better?
Yes. I think back then, because there were a lot of seniors with us, I think the importance of networking is something I lacked in the beginning. And it's like as a student, you are also not very, how do you say it? You don't see the importance.
Yeah.
You're not very, you're not already enlightened, neither you want to learn.
Yeah.
So if it's fed to you, you'll feel okay. If it's important, you'll remember. If it's not, you won't. But eventually, when I moved into the industry, I met my friends from other IITs and I understood, okay, the quant industry. I didn't know it was such a big industry back then, even in terms of software development. So that's something I got to know, I think 2 years down the line after my graduation. Okay, this is an industry I might want to explore. Kind of problem they're solving is something that might interest me. And similarly, some of my friends today are AI engineers. But back then, it was just still booming. And because we had faculties from that background, so they knew, okay, something we can do. So I think the importance of networking is something every student should. I mean, it's okay if you don't start it just as soon as you come into the college. But by your third year, as soon as you start your third year, I think you should start, networking with people from other IITs, from industries. Just ask them simple questions. You don't have to, ask them for referral every time. You just ask them simple questions. What are the kind of problems you're solving at? What are the right skills you're looking at? Like, I know for a fact that, if I want to make it into quant industry, I have to be fluent with probability and statistics. There's no way around it. So these are the kind of things I got to learn, I think, 2 years after my graduation. And sometimes I felt like I'm too late to learn all that. But it's okay. I mean, for, whoever is in the college right now, starting the journey, these are the kind of questions you have to look when you're in third year. And they don't take a lot of your time.
Yes.
You can have your other part of your life, academics or sports, you can just have it. Just take out half an hour daily, just ask random questions to random people. And you'll see how things are working in older IITs, what they're doing.
I think that's a great piece of advice for the listeners who will be listening to this podcast and who are preparing for campus placements or who are hunting for the jobs who can who at similar roles on which you have worked or the job roles, even for the job roles different from SDE positions.
Yes.
So jumping on to the part where, and how come this transition? I have seen you as a student of networking, learning software programming, and then working in the industry of SDE positions at SDE positions, and then going for higher education, and that too in a domain of financial engineering.
Yeah.
So how come that?
So financial engineering is like, in its name, if you'll feel, you won't associate engineering with finance very often. So it's more like, solving the tech and mathematics, mostly the mathematics behind how finance market works, be it investment banking or high frequency trading firms or even the equity firms as well. So I think I explored this domain quite a bit. I had friends at Goldman Sachs. He did a similar program from Carnegie Mellon University. So he told me about a lot about this program, and I felt like like my coding expertise is something that I can help in if I go into the quant domain. But at the same time, I knew that the transition wouldn't be very easy to make. But I also wanted to learn the basics of this rather than just diving headfirst. Of course, I feel like, if you want to go from a software engineer to a quantitative developer, I think it's still a straight process if you want to do it directly. For me, it was more like I wanted to learn the basics, freshen up the maths I already know, understand what's new in the domain, why people are doing that, meet people like me. So that's why I wanted to do a master's, and I always wanted to do a master's. It was like, in my bachelor's, I never thought, I'm just being honest, I never thought I'll get a job after my bachelor's. But when I did get a job, then I felt like, okay, this is the kind of job I've always wanted. Until then, I had no idea about quant industries. So now when I had that idea, I felt like, okay, let's go. Let's have a formal education. I'm doing a master's of financial engineering from NTU, and it's just a 1-year degree course, and I've been learning a lot. I'm already halfway through, so I hope by the time I end it, I can use it like my mathematics newfound knowledge and the already adept coding skills. I feel like I can combine it somehow to actually drive changes to the financial markets.
Any advice you would like to give to the young students who have this confusion about getting first the corporate job, or they should pursue higher education, or for the students who are working in corporate, who have some experience and who are planning to do higher education? Any advice for them, how they can start planning, or anything that comes to your mind?
Yeah, I think one thing to understand while preparing for a master's is to have the actual representation of where you're today. Like you should like when you start your bachelor's, you start a fresh slate. You have your whole career ahead of you. But when you're doing your master's, you'll have to think the pros and cons of whether or not to do this master's. What happens if it doesn't work out? What happens if it does? You have to make out all of this list. Then where do you want to do your master's from? Are you really ready for that hustle, those exams, those assignments again that, that during my bachelor's I felt they were easy, but now I'm doing at a master's at 26 and sometimes feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're genuinely motivated towards it and you have this conversation with yourself for a while and the answer comes out yes, then definitely you should pursue the master's. But with master's, there comes a lot of pressure that you've already left back in college, because academic pressure is very different from corporate pressure.
Correct.
And I feel like, it's, we had this concept of a momentum in finance where, if the market is going up, it's likely to go up. So it's more like, if you stayed in corporate for a long while, like I stayed for 4 years. If we count my internship, it was 4.5 years. So I stayed for that while. And when I made the shift, so it took me a good 2.5 months to just not blank out during exams, because now I'm more hands-on. If you give me practical assignments or projects, I was fast at it, accurate at it. But again, if you have to sit in an exam room doing a 100 marks exam in 2 hours with all the silence, so it's still, it was overwhelming. I found myself blank sometimes for 20 or 30 minutes at a stretch during the exams. So I feel like all these questions is something you have to answer yourself. And I feel like the sweet spot to do a master's is, somewhere between straight out of college to 2 years of corporate experience. Because after that, if you're going into a academically very heavy master's program, it sometimes doesn't add up. And you'll find yourself questioning, why am I even doing it? But at the same time, there are obviously options of MBAs. But I feel like, no disrespect to anyone, but I feel like if you're doing a BTech from an IIT, you have got a lot covered already. So I feel like it's better if you become a master's student in a very specific domain that can help you with your talent. Because I feel like in terms of management, you'll find better traction while you're in corporate rather than doing an MBA.
And because you're studying in NTU Singapore, so what difference you can sense and what similarities you can sense between NIT, new IIT, and NTU being a established institute?
I mean, academically, there's a lot of difference, definitely. I mean, we are just starting out, just 10 years. Next year for IIT Jammu, but NTU has been there like forever. And it's a very, prestigious institute. So there's definitely a lot of difference in academic structure, how they, pursue teaching in general. But at the same time, I'll also say the kind of personal life you get at an IIT during your bachelor's is something that's very second to none. Even at I think just because we were new IIT, I think it was much more personal than it would have been at an older IIT. Maybe I'm just overstepping here, but since I can talk about IIT Jammu, I felt like the kind of support you get from each other, from your friends, and over time, the way that friendship evolves, that relationship evolves, either with your, with you, I've worked with you, it was part of CDS, and I've worked with cultural heads, with sports faculty, everything. So those kind of relations is something I don't feel like as a master's you will make at a university. It's majorly because you have gone to do a master's and mostly study, but it's also because first of all the housing accommodation in NTU it's limited. Not every master student gets it. Only a few handful of master students and MBAs get it. Most of the PhDs get it and the bachelors get it, but masters don't. Then again, you're living in a very costly environment. If you've gone out of the country, you'll also have to, at the back of your mind, you have this thought, that if I'm doing something, if I'm spending so much money, then I have to justify it. Yes. So all these thoughts come in, and these are the kind of things, that bother you when you're in so far off land. But at the same time, taking nothing away from NTU, I think the faculty is definitely top class because, it's one of the best institutes, at least in my knowledge. And there are a lot of, unlike IITs, they have a lot of separate schools.
Okay.
Like IIT has, departments, but they have schools like School of Computer Science, they have College of Computing and Data Science. Right. They have, in like my school, it's NBS, Nanyang Business School. So that's something, are different in structure. But at the same time, if you're going from an IIT system to such a university, you won't feel the gap. I've talked to a lot of my MBA friends and MBAs, and the kind of life they feel like they're living for the first time, I feel I'm living for the second time. And on a personal level, I feel like the bachelor's life I lived at Jammu.
Is it a blessing living the similar life second time?
It's not similar actually, and it's not a blessing because they're not the same people.
Same people.
Yeah, you want to live that similar life with the same people in it, but since the people are different, it's a welcome change actually. But at 26, when you're competing with 21 and 22 years old, life becomes very difficult. But again, I think the campus life is something, as coming from IIT Jammu, I feel like campus life is something at NTU which is very similar. I won't call it, people there, they feel like that's the best campus life they're having. I feel like this was the best campus life I ever had.
Oh, that's great to hear. And do you carry that IIT Jammu tag with you?
I do.
You carry it proudly.
Proudly and in a very funny way. There was this event, it was happening for NBS alumnus. And it was a badminton event happening, and I wore my IIT Jammu convocation t-shirt to that event. And I got a photo in that t-shirt with everyone wearing an NBS t-shirt. So yeah, I actually carry it very proudly. I tell everyone what it's like. And the funny part is I met a student from Vietnam. She did her bachelor's from NTU and she recognized my jersey and she's like, are you part of the IIT system in India? I'm like, yes. How do you know about it? So she's like, yeah, people know about it here, in the Southeast Asian countries that people come from there. So sometimes, back when I joined IIT Jammu, a lot of people question, what are you going to a new third gen IIT? And I felt like, that tag always matters. It's was something I strive towards for. So I carry it with a lot of weight wherever I go. And I think a big reason for me getting into NTU was because I had a bachelor's from an IIT, and I also had a referral from one of the professors here, Sumit sir. He gave me a recommendation letter, and I think as soon as I got his recommendation, within 24 hours, I got an interview. So I feel like, this badge that I carry, it's something that, I get a lot of respect for. even folks there who are much older to me, but they haven't had much industry experience. They take advices from me that how was industry for you, or how did I make it into the industry, what processes were there, how did my bachelor's help me. So these kind of questions when I answer, and those aren't just Indians. There are people from, all of Southeast Asia. One of my friends is from Kazakhstan. So, we talk about it a lot, and that's when we realize, okay, this is something. And people, whenever, even if I have small failures, in terms of exams or projects or something, I'm not doing very well, it's not just me who reminds myself, but also people around me who remind myself that where I come from. So it's the kind of a pedigree that I carry with me, and it's going to help me, I guess, throughout my life, because it's not the exact tag, it's also the mindset that gets on with that tag.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, that's that.
So as you know, like Institute is growing, our family in IIT Jammu family is going, and so are the stakeholders are increasing in number. So being alumnus of IIT Jammu, how do you see a growth of this institute, and how do you sense being an alumni? What roles do you sense as an alumni that can help in growing the institute?
Yeah, I think first of all, for me, the institute has come a long way. I think I was one of the first people in this campus, and in terms of infrastructure, it has grown a lot. And whenever on LinkedIn, I get a connections request from a lot of juniors, and I see a lot of seniors. I'm still connected with a lot of seniors on a personal level. So when I see the kind of work people are already doing in the industry of my age, my juniors, the kind of startups that have been growing on from here. So I really feel that, we have come a long way, and there's a lot of way we still have to cover. And I think down that line in some 10 years time, I feel like, we might just have some startup CEOs from here. And as an alumnus, I'm just very proud that people are doing that well. And specifically, like say I'm looking out for quant opportunities now. So I feel like even if my juniors are doing well in the quant side of thing, I take advices from them. I have no issues. Batch of 2023, I know a lot of folks from batch of 2023 who are in the quant firms. So I take advices from them, how doing it, and what is required, what skills can I, upskill myself in. So these are the kind of conversations. So, as you become an alumnus, you are all on a similar hierarchy level. Each one of us can give advices, each one of can take advices. So, as a family we're growing, I'll find it very helpful, be it PhDs, be it BTechs, MTechs, anyone. So, it's just very, it feels very, it feels very heartwarming that, as a college we're doing so well, because there were a lot of questions before we were coming here. So now it's like almost a 10-year-old college. It's great to see that's doing so well.
Great. So I think we have covered most of our sections. We are jumping right to the very interesting section that we have created, that is a rapid fire.
Okay.
So be quick. I'm going to ask a lot of questions.
Okay.
Be quick on your toes.
Yes.
One word to describe IIT Jammu.
Beautiful.
Favorite spot on campus?
Nescafe.
Hostel life or classroom learning?
Hostel life any day.
Mess food you surprisingly liked back then?
Back then, poha.
Oh, great. Night owl or early riser during exam?
Night owl, 100%.
One serious memory that you remember
Serious memory. In college or during my college life, even at
in your
home?
college life?
I think it was, when I got selected into Amazon for my 6-month internship. It was like I almost cried.
Yeah. So one habit IIT Jammu gave you that still helps you at NTU.
Last minute assignment submissions.
Your favorite professor?
Sumit sir.
One mistake students should avoid.
Not being on your toes during their placement cycle.
One word to describe your college life.
Magnificent.
Oh, lovely. So you were great. And last but not the least, one advice for the students who are right now who have been hired by a few companies and who are giving the interviews at the moment and who will be getting onto the job by the month of January or maybe coming July.
Yeah, I think first of all, if you're in your interview stages, you don't have to be disheartened. There would come a lot of rejections before there comes an acceptance. If you have got an acceptance, early on in your career, then be thankful for it. Don't take it for granted. And those who are starting the jobs, I feel like it's very important to make yourself clear with your stakeholders. Ask them what they require of you. Tell them what are your expectations from them. Make it clear before you start any work at your job. Make the goals clear, make the deadlines clear, do work, deliver your work at the time you've agreed to. Even if you have to take your nights out, you don't have to sleep for days. That's okay. And even if things are not going your way, people are understanding, but you should have solid reasons in the corporate to help them understand what's not working for you.
Thank you, Yash. Thank you for coming to IIT Jammu on just a one call. And this, I think, entire time which we had, you took us back to the time when you were a student, and this was memorable. So to our listeners who just heard this podcast, so we are going to have more podcasts coming up for you guys. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep innovating. So these are the people who were on the benches at the moment you're sitting on. Thank you. Signing off. See you.
Thank you.